Yeah, in fact, I've known Sam for a while now. In fact, the first time I met Sam was when he was running his startup, and I was running Bing in 2007, 8. And they actually, OpenAI, I forget now the exact year, maybe 2016 even, or 2015, whenever they started on Azure. And then I reconnected back, yeah, that's probably right, 2019 or seems, before that. There are a couple of things, OpenAI, as I said, it's got a very mission-driven company, right? I mean, it's a company that is formed with the foundational idea that, look, this is technology that they're going to pursue and build and make sure the nonprofit at the end of the day is in control of this technology so that it can benefit the world. And they're very, very, driven by it. Anybody who joins their mission joins for that mission. And so it was very important for Sam and his team that they found a partner who understood that, right? And so that's why we were comfortable with it. In fact, to me, one of my dreams is the only reason why I want to work in information technology, I want to work at Microsoft, is to really be part of that democratizing force this time around so that the technology goes. It will be good for companies. We don't have to wait for regulation, for all to have either standards or adopt the NIST standard and use that as, I'll call it, the start of any self-regulation. Then on top of that, if you talk about regulation, maybe we can unpack it from the application domain, right? Because after all, context in which something is being applied, right? Or it's being applied in education, it's being applied in healthcare, or it's being applied in retail. So I think we can have the regulatory frameworks that already exist in all these, whether it's consumer safety or financial regulations or what have you. My approach, at least, would be regulators know what they're doing. They've, and in some sense, that's the fact that we are having this dialogue, right? We were a couple of us were at the White House a few weeks ago and having a dialogue. OSTP, Arthi Prabhakar and Gina Raimondo and the Vice President and all convened folks to have a dialogue. And I'm sure they're having dialogue with many other teams as well. That's great. And so to me, I don't think it's just a question of some, technology knowledge. It's just a question of, hey, how do we make sure that this stuff gets deployed so that really the benefits of this are protected? It's a much more dynamic world. I mean, OpenAI is a startup, a couple of hundred people, Inflection, small startup, Character.ai, Cohere.
Could a small player win today in this space?
Could. I mean, it all depends on what happens, right? Which is what's the product market fit that one of these folks finds, right? It's not a given that, whether it's Alphabet or Microsoft are the only two games in town. I'm glad. I mean, think about this. Who would have thought last year if you were sitting here and somebody had said to you, oh, you know what? There will be real contest around search. And people may actually have even a dream that there's an alternative to Google. There is not just Bing. There is ChatGPT and Bing, and there is lots of other folks who have entered the search market. I mean, that to me is sort of be celebrated.